If you saw the Marvel Tokon X-Men trailer that dropped during the State of Play a few weeks ago, then you already know Chandilar got completely wiped out. And not only that, Gladiator, one of the strongest characters in Marvel, lost to whoever this guy is that caused all of this destruction. I'm talking this man got packed up. Now if you're sitting there wondering, wait, who even is Gladiator or what the heck is a Chandilar? Don't feel bad. Marvel Tokon seems to be trying its best to introduce Marvel characters that have never been in a Marvel fighting game before with a bunch of deep cuts that casual Marvel fans might not know about. So don't worry, because in this video I'll explain who Gladiator is, his relation with Chandilar, and what this means for Marvel Tokon's story as a whole. So without further ado, let's get right into my brand new Tokon video series. So let's start with the basics. Gladiator, whose real name is Kellark, is the leader of the Shi'ar Imperial Guard, the strongest military force in the Shi'ar Empire. Now you might be thinking, slow down, the heck's a Shi'ar? Well, the Shi'ar are a powerful alien race in Marvel that not only originates from the planet Chandilar, but they also rule one of the largest and most advanced empires in the Marvel universe. They are very militaristic, technologically superior, and very much focused on order, strength, and control, even going to the point of conquering countless worlds, thus forming the massive Shi'ar Empire, which spans galaxies. This is all thanks to the Shi'ar Imperial Guard, which is filled with many powerful warriors that help grow the Shi'ar's presence around the universe. And like I stated previously, Gladiator here is the leader of the Shi'ar Imperial Guard. He's the ultimate enforcer and protector of this empire.
The ultimate life form.
Yeah, something like that actually. You see, Gladiator is one of Marvel's strongest characters, and I mean strong. He's got superhuman strength capable of destroying planets, movement speed that's faster than light, he can fly, of course, I mean duh. He can project highly concentrated beams of energy from his eyes that can reach temperatures hotter than the stars. He's equipped with superhuman breath that gives him the ability to not only create strong winds, but also chill his breath so that he can freeze his targets in an icicle, and so much more powers and abilities that I haven't even gotten into. He's even gone toe to toe with some of the strongest Marvel characters in the universe like Thor, and if you're tapped in, you know that Thor is no slouch. Oh, and Gladiator also just, casually threw Juggernaut across another island.
Wow! I didn't think anybody could do that to Juggernaut!
Nobody from Earth.
Now, if you notice, Gladiator's powers are very similar to Superman's. This is because Gladiator was intentionally created to be Marvel's version of Superman. Maybe not as strong as him, but he's got the spirit. Created by writer Chris Claremont and artist Dave Cockrum, Gladiator was intentionally designed to mirror or at least closely resemble Superboy from DC Comics' Legion of Superheroes. In fact, each member of the Shi'ar Imperial Guard was made to parallel a Legion of Superheroes member. Gladiator's inspiration was just Superboy. This is mainly because Dave Cockrum's big break as a comic book artist was drawing Legion of Superheroes for DC Comics. After leaving DC Comics to work for Marvel, he wanted to play around with making Marvel's version of the Legion of Superheroes. But going back to the Superman comparisons, the name Gladiator was a conscious homage to the Philip Wiley novel Gladiator that was released in 1930, the novel that Superman was partially based on. Also, Gladiator's name, Kellark, is a combination of Superman's Kryptonian and human names, Kal-El and Clark Kent. But like I said earlier, mostly everything about Gladiator, including his powers, is directly inspired by Superman. But unlike Superman's weakness being kryptonite, Gladiator's weakness is actually his confidence. You see, the more he believes in himself and has no doubts, the stronger he becomes. But the moment he doubts himself, his power drops. So in a fight, if Gladiator is confident, he's nearly unstoppable. But if something shakes him mentally, that's when things start to fall apart. So Gladiator's strength is psychological, and that's what makes him way more dangerous, but also way more vulnerable at the same time. It's a strength and weakness of his. So yeah, big strong guy that's the leader of a powerful military force, clearly a Superman clone but has a funny weakness, all that jazz. But with every hero and villain, there's always an origin story. So what's Gladiator's? See, Gladiator wasn't just born into this role of being the leader of the Shi'ar Imperial Guard, he actually earned it in one of the most brutal ways possible. But before I get into that, let me provide some context. Kellark is a member of the Strontian race, a group of people that existed on planet Strontia. All Strontians are born with the capacity for great strength and various superpowers, but when a plague ravaged their planet many years ago, their species were endangered. That was until the Shi'ar Emperor at the time brought them the cure to the plague that saved all of them. In return, the Strontians swore unending loyalty to the Shi'ar throne, thus making Strontia be under Shi'arian rule. Many years later, the new leader of the Shi'ar Empire, Tokon, started to actually build the Shi'ar Imperial Guard. His ruling was that each planet Shi'ar ruled over would provide its greatest champion to the team to represent their world. For Strontia, he personally oversaw the selection of the Strontian candidates. After finding out that Strontians value nothing above honor and duty, he wanted to put that to the test. The planet of Strontia is ruled over the Strontian Council of Elders, and Tokon greatly feared that these elders would one day plot against his rule. So to test the Strontian candidates' loyalty to the Shi'ar Empire, he tasked them with killing the elders. Understandably, this causes a few of the candidates to try to rebel against Tokon, but Clark himself didn't let his feelings get in the way. Swearing to obey Tokon's orders, he eventually kills the elders, showcasing his extreme loyalty. It's even more crazy when you learn that Clark was the only cadet that was told in advance about how the Shi'ar had a starcracker orbiting the Strontian sun. If all the cadets defied Tokon's orders, the Shi'ar would cause the sun to go nova, destroying Strontia. You would think this would make Clark want to fight against the Shi'ar even more, but he still chose to kill the elders. This is because Clark embodies everything about what makes a Strontian strong: unwavering obedience. Remember, Strontians' powers come from confidence, but their confidence is built on obedience, and that obedience was tested when they were tasked with betraying their own people. Any Strontian that questioned these orders would literally not only make them disobedient, but also make them lose confidence, thus weakening themselves. Clark, on the other hand, pretty much mastered the art of obeying orders despite what he may think. This man is the definition of loyalty, and that loyalty is not only what made him leader of the Imperial Guard, but also gave him the name Gladiator. Now you might think this is a sad story and that Clark is pretty depressed about it, but it's quite the opposite. Tokon had to do what he had to do because he's quite literally the leader of a huge empire. The safety of the countless worlds he rules over depends on him. In these kinds of situations, the ruler themselves and anyone that assists him cannot have any doubts at all, and Tokon makes sure to make that very clear to Clark after everything happening, having him understand that he is not a cruel person. And even to this day, despite whatever feelings he may have on the current Shi'ar Empire he's serving under, Clark will still choose to obey them no matter what. He doesn't question anything. The Shi'ar Emperor could be the most evil person in the world and he would still be their right-hand man, because the last wish of the elders was for Clark to remain loyal to the Shi'ar Empire no matter what, because if he doesn't, his existence for centuries and the sacrifices Strontians made will lose all meaning. Despite planet Strontia being gone now, unfortunately, Clark is the last of his kind and he wants to make the Strontian Council of Elders proud above. So with all this understood about Gladiator, what does his appearance mean for Marvel Tokon as a whole? As you saw in the X-Men trailer, Gladiator looked to be defeated by some mysterious person. With all that we've learned about Gladiator in terms of his powers, him being defeated by somebody is a huge deal. And really, it tells you everything you need to know. The villain in Tokon is not normal. We're talking about somebody that can destroy entire planets, take down the Shi'ar Empire, and beat one of Marvel's strongest warriors. That is insane. Now, there's been a lot of theories on who the villain can be, but most people are pretty much on board with this being Champion of the Universe, a super OG Marvel character. Now, while the silhouette doesn't quite look like Champion, not only are there many hits and Easter eggs in the game that link to him being the villain, but it's also possible that this is a drastic redesign of the character. After all, it was recently revealed by the developers that Marvel Tokon has officially received the designated universe number from Marvel, Earth 358. This is a huge deal because the world of Marvel is set in many different universes. Not all comics are set in the same universe, not all movies are set in the same universe, and not all games. This new universe gives Arc System Works their freedom to give characters like Champion of the Universe drastic redesigns, or at least some changes in their colors and outfits. For example, Marvel Tokon's Gladiator does look a bit different from his comic counterparts, and so does Danger. But getting back to Gladiator, I can definitely see him losing to Champion. Champion of the Universe has superhuman strength capable of destroying entire planets with one punch, super speed, has amazing durability, and he's also immortal. So I can definitely see him beating Gladiator and taking down the Shi'ar Empire. Overall, Champion is a very ruthless and cold-blooded guy that searches for the thrill of battle. He's more than willing to annihilate the entire population on the planet unless a fighter would defeat him. Safe to say that nobody on Chandilar was able to beat him since that planet got cooked, so...
That's rough, buddy.
Now honestly, it'd be a really great idea to make Gladiator a playable character in Tokon. Obviously, he'd probably play like Superman in Injustice, but imagine if they incorporate his confidence mechanic into how he plays. Maybe the more momentum you have, the stronger he gets, or landing hits build up his confidence. He could have like a confidence meter or something that builds up the more you wall break opponents, win rounds, and land a hit on the opponent. But if he gets hit, gets wall broken on, or loses a round, he becomes weaker, and the confidence meter will decrease. That would be a really unique design, and honestly, it would fit Tokon perfectly. But this is my video on Gladiator, and I hope y'all enjoyed it. This is actually part of my new Marvel Tokon video series called Marvel Tokon Deep Cuts that go deep into the lore of Marvel characters that are in the game that most people might not know about. OG Marvel fans might know who Gladiator is, but new folks might not be too tapped in on him. Same thing for Danger and Deathbird, two characters that aren't too known in the casual Marvel space, but you already know that I will be making videos on them as well. So be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to keep up with me. I make Marvel Tokon content weekly, so if you're interested in Tokon in any capacity, I got you every week. And as always, from me to you, have yourself a blessed day.